platform. Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Chrisley Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios here in California. I'm going to say something that's going to make me the most unpopular guy in the room, but LOB, baby, Legion of Boom. There we go. All right. We're so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
That didn't just happen. We also have AMC Entertainment Editor, Miss Wow, I get the names all messed up today because I've been gone for a week. Erin Darling.
What's up, guys? Nice to see you.
We also have AMC's editor, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey, guys. Still got nothing but love for you Niners. Way to hustle. Mwah. Next year's our year. It's our year.
And director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened, Mr. John Schnepp?
What's up, guys? You talking about football or something?
Many of us have been waiting for the July 2015 release of the upcoming Batman vs. Superman movie. Well, it looks like we're all going to have to wait a lot longer. WB announced that the film has been pushed back to May 2016. In a press release, WB said they moved the date to give the filmmakers time to realize fully their vision, given the complex visual nature of the story. John, what do you make of WB moving Man of Steel to nearly a year?
They screwed up. Look, I talked on AMC Mailbag this weekend about this for about a half hour, but let me just sum it up. WB and DC have dropped the ball and they've screwed this up. Now, the only question is, when did they screw it up? Did they screw it up recently with just doing stuff flying off the seat of the pants? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, now let's do a Justice League back-to-back and whatever. Or, wait a minute, let's rewrite the script completely or whatever. Did they screw it up now and then therefore they delayed it? Or did they completely screw this up 7 months ago? And did they announce this movie at Comic-Con with all the big fanfare when they had a crappy script and they had a crappy direction and a crappy idea and no idea what they were doing? So did they screw it up then or did they screw it up now? Now, a lot of people say to me, rightfully so, it's better to delay it and make sure you get it right. Yes, it absolutely is, but that does not change the fact that they screwed it up in the first place, requiring it to be fixed. It's like taking your car in to get your brakes done, right? Your brakes are done, you take it into these experts, and they tell you, after looking at your car, we've done a full diagnostic, it's going to take us 1 week to get your car fixed. So come back in 1 week, we're the experts, we've looked it over, and we know what's wrong, we'll give it 1 week. But in the midst of fixing the car, it turns out they were completely wrong. Your transmission's shot, your wheels are gone, your steering is completely out of alignment. So you come back in a week and they go, as it turns out, we needed 3 more weeks. Mm-hmm. Now, would it be better for them just to give you your car on the day they said they're going to give it to you? No. It's better that they wait and fix it and get it right and delay getting it to you, but they still screwed up in the first place. So Warner Brothers dropped the ball on this. The only question is, when did they screw up? But yes, it is best that they delay it. If they've realized they've screwed this up so bad that they've got a big, hot, steaming mess, then it's probably better for them to delay it, make it right, and give us a great film, but they still screwed up. Amy Rose, how do you see this?
First of all, way to expand on your analogies. They're usually all sports analogies,
yes,
so car analogies.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't say I'm shocked. I can't. I'm disappointed, of course, because we've all been looking forward to this, and I was still hoping and maintaining that this would be the sequel and not Justice League Origins. But I'm not that surprised, and they definitely have a really large undertaking, and like you said, I want them to get it right. I don't want them to mess it up. But I would have to guess that it was recent development, maybe them losing faith in the production, because during Comic-Con, you really capitalized on all the heat, but then they didn't need to announce the date as well, the release date. They could have let momentum continue to build, but they slapped it on. Maybe it was overly ambitious at the time, maybe they actually had a clear direction, and then they decided to keep adding all these Justice League members, and then they lost it in the shuffle. If I had to guess, it would be probably the last couple months that they're like, well, let's see what we can do, and then obviously they don't want to mess this up. So I am glad they're taking their time, but I am disappointed. They better give us a really good film now that they have all this extra time they just built in. So.
Snap.
A whole year? I mean, when I heard that news, I thought at first it was like somebody was joking. It was just, oh, that's a mistake. It must be a few months. But a whole year, I mean, I equate that to RoboCop. Like this new RoboCop that we're all going to get to see like in 2 weeks or whatever, like on Valentine's Day. They pushed it a whole year, basically. It was supposed to come out last year. It probably still would have been PG-13 with really bad music. I don't know if you guys have seen some clips that they could still remove the horrible music. Hint. Yeah, to me, it was very disappointing news because, you know, when you're a fan of something and it's already 2 years away.
Yeah, we want it.
It's already 2 years away. It's not. We heard about this in 2013 that it was going to come out in towards the end of 2015. So it's like, oh, they've got 2.5 years easy to get this, to film it, the 8 months to film it, throw it over to ILM and all these other effects houses for like a year. And then they'll still have time to tinker with it, mess around and do reshoots. And we'll get this awesome movie in 2015. And then no, a year later, that's like a giant delay. So there had to be some massive snafu or some. I mean, I was reading somewhere that Ben Affleck injured himself, that he had some problem or something.
Yeah, there was a rumor going around that he broke his leg, and then we saw him walking and skipping up on stage at the SAG Awards. So
And
his
a
leg's
year,
fine.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
a year to mend an injury.
There's obviously something way deeper that we'll eventually find out about, but right now we get, you know, just a, hey, wait another year. So you know what? I mean, it doesn't matter that much to me because 2015 is a loaded summer.
But it's getting less and less loaded
You're
as
right,
more
Star
and
Wars
more
getting
films are
pushed off.
jumping
Yeah.
out of 2015.
Yeah, right, there's just going to be like the Fantastic Four left and like a Smurfs 3. You're like, what happened to that summer? You know, it'll just be nothing.
All right, Aaron, how do you see this?
I love this news, you guys. I am so worried about the future of Batman vs. Superman, and I think they need this time. I think it's crucial for the development of their plot lines, their storylines. I don't want a Justice League movie. I wanted an actual sequel, so I am stoked about this movie. And the second I heard about this, I tweeted out, shocker, insert sarcasm here. I was not surprised when I heard about this. So
We'll
I
also
think it's a
talk
good
about
thing.
it 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Well, see, and here's the other thing. A lot of
3
people
years from
say,
now, really.
a lot of
I'm
people
not
said to me,
excited.
but John, you know, lots of movies change their release dates, right? Like, I mean, Man of Steel shifted its release date. 300, Rise of an Empire, which is
Right.
opening up here pretty soon,
Couple
was
months.
supposed to open in 2013. But the difference between those situations and this one is that those films were already shot.
Yeah.
And they just decided we want a different release date.
Right.
Yeah.
This whole shift is happening because they blew it, because they said, we're ready to shoot a movie. As it turns out, they didn't know what they were talking about. They weren't ready to shoot a movie. And they decided to tinker and toy and add this and add this. And once again, Marvel shows that they have a long-term plan. They have all their blueprints laid out before they take a single step, and then they start to unfold it. And they've got their movies in 2018 plan, whereas DC is like, let's just fly by the seat of our pants. Let's do this. Now let's do this. And it's frustrating.
Right.
Man of Steel was still the best comic book movie of last year. I still have faith in it. Sadly, Aaron, this is still going to be a Batman Superman movie. It's not going to be a true Man of Steel sequel.
But at least it's closer to the sequel than what I was
I
hearing
don't
that
even
we were
think so.
going
I
to
think it's going to
beginning.
be more the other way. I think one of the reasons they've changed this is because they want to do the Justice League back to back.
Right.
And so but still, it's frustrating.
Are they
that-
shooting though? Are they still starting shooting this February? Because they already
No,
shot a
that's
bunch
a
of.
lot, yeah.
Didn't
Now
they
they're
shoot that
saying-
football
They had
footage
insert
with
shots, I think.
Now they're saying
Yeah.
second quarter of 2014 is when they're going to start shooting, and I'm going to guess that's going to be pushed back too.
Wow.
So the earliest they're going to start shooting this is now April. I'm going to guess probably it's going to be like May or June, but we'll see how that goes. All right, what's next?
I was actually going to let you guys in on a little secret because WB called me, and the reason why they're waiting so long is because I told them I couldn't be ready to be Wonder Woman until then, so it's all my fault. You can blame it on me.
We're not allowed to say that yet, Kristen.
spoilers.
The next installment of the Star Wars saga, Star Wars Episode 7, is set to hit AMC theaters on December 18th, 2015. When asked about the current status of the project, director J.J. Abrams said the following: "We're working really hard, and we've got our script, and we're in deep prep. Full steam ahead, you know?" Amy Rose, did JJ's comments encourage you or discourage you?
It's not a lot there. I mean, we're working hard and we're full speed ahead. Well, yeah, you better be. It's going to be, quickly approaching. And unlike the Superman vs. Batman movie, they actually decided to stay within the year. They were telling us they would stay, so I appreciate that. Gave themselves a little wiggle room, couple more months to really fine tune. But yeah, I mean, I have confidence in this production. I could literally not be more excited for any film coming out in the next several years. But again, this quote is just just kind of like, great, I'm glad you're working really hard. Do it, JJ and team.
See, I love this quote, and only for one little tiny part of it. We've got the script. It's done. And he's confirmed that. The script is now done. It's in the can, and all the work they're doing now is actually going to be stuff we're going to see on screen, which is really great. It's really encouraging to hear because not nearly as bad as Batman vs. Superman.
No.
But there has been this little stench in the air. This little stench of failure.
Well, with the
in
writer's
air.
shuffle.
With the writer's shuffle
Yeah.
and moving from the summer 2015 to December 2015, there has been this little scent of catastrophe in the air. But to me, this really reassures me. Everything's on course, script's done, they're moving ahead. To me, this is great news. Aaron?
It's good news for me too. I mean, Star Wars is keeping everything so close to the vest. Everything going on with Star Wars and Disney, they're not talking about this because of all the rumors and everything that's going on right now. So there's a lot that we don't know, and there's nothing bad about what he's saying. I think it's positive. So there's nothing for us to worry about. I mean, I love this emo picture too, right?
I know, right?
Like, this is what a great graphic.
Totally staring at us.
He's totally in thought, just like Star Wars. I love it. So that's what I think about it.
It's a great little short quote. I mean, I read somewhere else earlier. He said he was talking. He said they're shooting in film, which is great. A lot of practical. They're building sets.
Yeah,
they're gonna have Mark Hamill sweating for like 6 months. 6 months, like doing backflips. So that's always exciting. I'm happy. I'm glad that they reworked the script and made it more about the original trio. Because honestly, that's what we all expect. I mean, it'll be great to see their kids flipping around and doing Jedi stuff, but we actually want to see Han Solo and Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker. I mean,
Did you hear who the new Leia is? We're not allowed to reveal it yet. We're not allowed to reveal it yet. I'm not saying anything. But yeah, I too am very excited.
Multiple spoilers on this show.
AMC Movie Talk has now just become a vehicle for all of us to become superheroes or Star Wars characters, in case you guys didn't know on the
And
internet.
I'm Batman. All right, it's time for us to get on the part of the show called Buy and Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Schnepp, Amy Rose, Aaron, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Three-time Academy Award-winning writer and director Oliver Stone has been working on his Martin Luther King Jr. biopic, but took to his Twitter this past weekend to announce he's now off the project, saying the following. Sad news, my MLK project involvement has ended. I did an extensive rewrite of the script, but the producers won't go with it. The script dealt with issues of adultery, conflicts within the movement, and King's spiritual transformation into a higher, more radical being. I'm told the estate and the respectable black community that guard King's reputation won't approve it. Jeanette, buy or sell Stone leaving the Martin Luther King biopic?
I buy it if that means I'm happy that he left it. I mean, I love Oliver Stone's movies, but I think dealing with someone like Martin Luther King, he should be really respectful of everything that he did for changing America and helping to erase a lot of the horrible situations that our forefathers put us into. So I don't want to see some kind of muckraking of Martin Luther King. I could read multiple different biographies. I don't need to see that in a movie. So, I mean, for me, it's a buy that he's not doing it.
Amy Rose?
Yeah, also buy that he's leaving, although I really do like that description because I think that kind of shows a Martin Luther King we've never seen before. But I want an African American, a black director to take this, to, show one of the most iconic, amazing forward thinkers, of that generation. I mean, his words still are so ingrained in our society, and I think that it should be, done justice in that respect. Not to say that Oliver Stone wouldn't do a good job, but that would be my preference.
Aaron?
I'm going to buy him leaving the project as well, but for completely different reasons. I feel like the purpose of a biopic should not be to, preserve an image that wasn't necessarily true. Although he did so many great things for our country, if Oliver Stone wants to create a movie focusing on certain different aspects of his life, then maybe he should do it with another team. So I think it's fine that he leaves the project as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to buy this as well, but for different reasons. See, all other things being equal, I want my biopics and historical films to be as accurate as possible. And I find something refreshing and relatable when we see the real flaws in our heroes. I think that makes them more real, actually, and more inspiring, because Martin Luther King, one of the greatest human beings to ever live. But I think showing some of his flaws and the darker side of him, I think that just makes him more tangible to us.
Agreed.
But that being said, even though that's my preference, all other things being equal, I've said many times, I don't think biopics are supposed to be history lessons. And I don't think they're supposed to replace a classroom and replace history books and real. They're not supposed, we don't go to the movies for truth. We go there for an entertainment piece. And if they want to go a certain direction with an MLK entertainment piece, then I'm totally fine with that and I'm cool that he's leaving.
A documentary,
Absolutely,
maybe.
yeah.
My big thing is I'm not saying I don't like seeing reality in biopics. My thing is Oliver Stone.
Right.
And what he
You don't
what
like
he,
his reality?
What he brings to the mix is like it's the opposite of what we got with Saving Mrs. Banks or Mr. Banks,
Right.
which is a kind of a whitewashing, like, hey, everything, like, let's throw this our dark stuff in the corner. You know, Oliver Stone will bring that up and maybe overpower some of the aspects.
Yeah, that's a danger too.
That's
going
my
too
thing.
far the
That's
other way
my-
is a danger
my thing,
too.
so.
All right, what's next?
As many of you know, it was recently announced that actor Emile Hirsch would be playing the iconic comedy legend John Belushi in an upcoming biopic on his life. Now, according to reports coming out of Sundance, actor Miles Teller has been selected to play Belushi's frequent partner, Dan Aykroyd. Teller can be seen on AMC screens in the new movie That Awkward Moment on January 31st. Erin, buy or sell Teller playing Dan Aykroyd?
Teller as Dan Aykroyd, I think, is a great casting choice. They kind of look alike, and I think that we've seen Teller do a lot of comedy. He's obviously a fantastic actor, and especially in movies we've seen from just last year, he's really strong, and I love Emile Hirsch in everything. So overall, I'm really excited for this project. It's a huge buy for me.
Amy Rose?
Initially, I was like, I'm not so sure about that, but I also came around as well, and I'm buying it because he is not just comedy. He can do the spectacular now, and I've heard so much hype coming out of Sundance about Whiplash,
Right.
the new film about him, playing this drummer and J.K. Simmons being his mentor. It sounds amazing, and everyone's like, this is the Miles Teller we've been waiting for, and I saw that in the Spectacular Now. So I think that this is a really good career move for him. And I think that he's shown us enough of his diversity and just his range that I have faith that he can pull it off. If Tom Hardy can play,
The Rocket Man?
Rocket Man, I think that Miles Teller will give him a shot too.
I'm going to sell this for now. And Miles Teller, not because of lack of talent, Miles Teller is becoming a very hot commodity in Hollywood right now. A lot of producers and directors are lining up to work with this kid. And, the rumor is that he's one of the front runners, if not the front runner, to play Mr. Fantastic in the upcoming The Fantastic Four babies that Fox seems to be working on. But this is a case where I just don't see it as a fit. Now, I don't care whether he looks like Aykroyd or not. I don't think he does look like Aykroyd,
don't
personally.
either.
But that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I just don't get the vibe from him. But I could be totally wrong, and this could end up being great. I'm just saying for now, my initial reaction is a sell. Schnapp?
I'm going to buy it because I think, I bet he did do a great Dan Aykroyd impersonation.
Maybe,
They
yeah.
probably put him up against with Emil and, they did the, little Blues Brothers and, so I'll buy it. I can't wait to see it.
I love Emile Hirsch too. He's
All right,
awesome.
what's
So
next?
amazing.
A brand new trailer for the upcoming Angelina Jolie film Maleficent has hit the web that gives us a little more insight into the film. A link to the video can be found in our video description below. John, buy or sell this new trailer for Maleficent?
I really like it. I gotta tell you, I had my apprehensions about the project when I first heard about it and all this kind of stuff, but I thought the first trailer was spectacular. I think this one, we get more of a sense of how Angelina is going to be playing this role, which I think is dynamic. Okay, the fairy godmothers look stupid. That looked horrible. And I want to be careful how I say this. Mm-hmm. I really liked Elle Fanning in those two movies scrammed into one movie that J.J.
Super
Abrams
8.
did, Super 8. I thought she was really delightful in that. I
wonderful.
think she's got a great future as an actress. I don't find her to be the overwhelming, stunning beauty that only magical CGI entities can come down and bestow upon a living thing. I don't see that in her. And that's very superficial of me to say. I'm just throwing it out there right up front. I admit that that's what it is. But still, when she's like, the goddesses from above descend and say, you will be bestowed with earth-shattering beauty. It's Elle Fanning. I mean, I don't really see. I know that sounds harsh. Look, she's better looking than me. So I mean, I can't. I don't want to sound
I
like
want
it's
to see
harsh.
you in that dress.
That would be something.
I do not.
But overall, I think this thing looked fantastic. For me, it's a buy.
Yeah, it's also a buy for me. I will agree the only part of the trailer that took me out were those awful fairy godmothers.
How terrible
Those
was
were
that?
laughable, but I liked how they added, little snippets of the actual, original film, and then how they're bringing it here. And Angelina Jolie looks gorgeous with horns. How does someone still look gorgeous with horns? So I think she's exactly the actress to do this. I love the whole wicked approach from the perspective of the villain, and it's a much deeper tale than we know, and I just think everything about this looks great. And Elle Fanning is a lovely, innocent, beautiful woman, and she's very talented, and I think she's gonna win
great.
you over.
She's gonna be great. Shep?
I didn't like the use of the original Sleeping Beauty footage cut in.
Neither did I.
I didn't really need to see, they were like, remember? Like, so poking at you. Remember this? I'm like, I get it. I know. You don't have to show me the footage, It just felt like we're all dumb people, Oh, it's from Sleeping Beauty, hey. So don't show any more of the animation. It's not an animated thing, Disney. Knock it off, is what I'd say.
And don't show the fairy godmothers anymore.
Fairy godmothers didn't bother me that much. It just reminded me, oh yeah, they're floating around. Oh, they're floating around too, only it's live action. It was stupid. So,
And just for the record, for tomorrow's AMC Movie Talk, I want you to do the whole show in that voice.
which voice you'll have to remind
We're
me.
stupid.
Yeah, there's too
Huh?
many.
How are you guys doing? You know what? Angelina Jolie's cheeks are so sharp. I want to see a scene where her just cutting glass.
Oh my God,
like a
I was
circle.
thinking the exact
and just
same
like
thing.
crawling through something. I mean,
She does look a
she
little
looks pretty
emaciated.
crazy. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fun film. So.
Right. Aaron?
Same thing. I can't really say much that hasn't already been said. I'm excited for the movie. I think they're both very talented actresses, and I'm loving everything that I'm seeing so far. Huge buy.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show called Mailbag. Now, listen, after we're done Mailbag, for all those of you who are watching us live and are in the live chat board, we're going to take some questions from the live chat board once we're done Mailbag. So you can start firing in your questions. Do us a favor, just for formatting's sake, put question and then write your questions, so Crystal Lee has an easier time picking out which ones are questions, because she has all the power here. But until we get to that point, we've got a few messages pulled out of the mailbag. So, Crystal Lee, what do we got?
Did you hear that? I have all the power. That just got me very excited. John Kresko writes, I found out something recently, and I have to ask you guys if you've heard of this or have seen it. I heard that Rapunzel and Flynn from Tangled were seen in a quick shot from Frozen when they're walking on the bridge and pass by Anna when she's singing for the first time in forever. So I checked out a still of the shot on the internet, and it was definitely them. With this in mind, do you think there'll be a crossover movie? Do you think Disney Animation has a bigger scheme, or was it just a small cameo or Easter egg for the fans?
For those who don't know what John's talking about, do we got this picture here? Can we bring this picture up? Oh, well, it's behind us right here. There it is. So we see the two people with their back to us. That is Flynn and Rapunzel with their backs to Anna from Tangled, but they're actually in Frozen. So the question a lot of people raise up, could there be some kind of crossover movie? I do want to point out that there was also a cameo of Buzz Lightyear in Frozen, and there was a cameo of Mickey Mouse in a couple of scenes, and there are no crossovers. There was also 3 cameos of R2-D2 in the original Star Trek film that J.J. Abrams directed, but there was no Star Trek or whatever. It was just a fun little cameo.
Wait, there's not going to be a crossover?
There's no crossover coming. Did you guys have anything else to add to that?
I didn't realize that that happened, and I think that's a cute little nod. And Tangled was amazing. So was Frozen. So yeah, it's cute, but. That's always the next question. Crossover?
I love seeing all these little hints, though. They're so much fun, especially when you find them before other people find them.
Little
It's like,
Easter
did you
eggs.
see that?
Yeah.
Well, Wreck-It Ralph had 7,000
yeah.
crossovers.
Wreck-It
They're like,
Ralph
I
was
believe
just-
Q-Bert should be in the next. I was like,
like a
Q-Bert and
huge
who else?
montage for pop
7,000.
culture in general.
Yeah, people
Yeah, it
floating
was,
around in
yeah.
the background. There's millions of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I'm so sad. I watched Frozen 6 times last weekend because I had a screener.
Damn.
Yes, I was a little bored. I did not see Buzz Lightyear once, so I'm a little
but
upset.
I'll send you the stills.
Yes, Wilfredo Rojas writes, I just love your show. My question is really simple. Is there going to be some kind of extended cameo of Kara Zor-El in Batman vs. Superman? Something kind of based in a tiny part on the DC Comics trade paperback Superman Batman Volume 2 Supergirl. I mean, why bother releasing a comic prequel and show the open pod on Kara's ship?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what Wilfredo is talking about, right before Man of Steel came out, they put out a Man of Steel little prequel comic in which Kara Zor-El, thousands of years ago, flew to Earth crash landed on Earth in a Kryptonian ship, the ship that Clark Kent finds in Man of Steel. And when Clark Kent goes into that ship, remember, he finds a pod with a skeleton inside, and then he looks over and there's another pod that's open and empty. That's because in the comic, after Kara crash lands, we see her in the comic getting out and just walking off into the distance, and that's it. Now, Schnepp, you and I were doing, over Skype, we were doing a show 7-8 months ago talking about this prequel comic, and I threw out a theory that everybody said I was completely insane for, but now more and more people are starting to think that maybe it's the case. I theorized like 7 or 8 months ago on the show that Kara Zor-El goes off and she actually becomes the founder and the starting of the Amazonian bloodline. Because remember, in this new DC universe, you got to have an explanation as to why do these Amazons, why does Wonder Woman have these powers? And I theorized because they're all descendants of Kara Zor-El. And remember, the Kryptonians didn't breed the way traditional people. They don't have man and a woman. They fall in love, rub certain parts together, and out pops a baby. That's not how the Kryptonians did it. They had a different type of reproduction. So maybe Kara Zor-El had a way to do that, and she became the matriarch, the founding member of an Amazonian race that Wonder Woman in the movie universe is a descendant from. Everybody said I was crazy. I kind of think I'm a little bit crazy too. I'm not sure I buy it myself. But now there's more and more people starting to theorize that that's exactly the direction they're going. What do you guys think about that?
I like that idea. I mean, maybe that it's not Kara, but part of the ship or something has, that codex with the skull. Like it's only half of the skull, so it can only reproduce women. You know what I mean? Because it's an island of Amazon.
Mind blown. Yeah, you just blew my mind.
Something could be along, and maybe it's not her because she's not immortal or whatever, but then something, happens.
Yeah, I don't think it's her. I think she died thousands of years ago, but I think maybe they're descendants.
That could work. Yeah. And I don't know. We're gonna have to wait 3 years to find out. So why no more questions about Superman and Batman? No,
I mean, spoiler alert. Right? I don't know if we're allowed to say this yet, but there is going to be a Supergirl movie, and I'm going to be.
Bam!
So many spoilers today. I think it's too cool of a backstory not to explore. Basically, I think it's way too. There's just way too much cool content to not explore. And personally, I would like it to be Kara, but I understand if they wouldn't want to tie that up. But I think. We don't know what we're going to get on the big screen.
We have no idea. Let's be clear here. We're theorizing.
2023 Supergirl shall be appearing in remote cinemas.
All right, listen. We've got just a couple of minutes left, so let's shotgun fire as fast as we can through a few questions that you guys have in the chat board. Chrisley's got a few of them pulled out. So, Chrisley, in all of your power, which did you decide to ask?
Omar Elkatone writes, I'm a giant Buffy fan. I want to know if you guys would be interested in watching a Buffy reboot or movie without Joss Whedon's involvement.
They were talking about doing that about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was going to be completely, they weren't going to involve Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon had no interest in it, and then very quickly that whole idea died. So would I be interested? Frankly, no, and I don't think it's coming either. Anything else to add?
But the Christy Swanson Donald Sutherland film was amazing, so come on.
Without Joss Whedon, absolutely not. Zero interest in Angel or Buffy or any of that without Joss Whedon and his crew, the rest of the crew that wrote on both of those series. It would have to be that. So.
Brock Humphrey says, no one's talking about it, but why isn't Rogue an X-Men anymore? I mean, I heard they cut her scenes, but why? And maybe this time shift gives her real true powers. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
Yeah, basically, I think like a lot of characters in the X-Men universe that we've seen over the years, I believe Rogue only had 2 scenes. I think she originally only had 2 scenes written in the script, and then for whatever story flow reasons in the editing room, remember, a lot of scenes get cut in the editing room. So in the editing room, they just realized, we don't need this scene, which was Rogue's biggest scene. They just realized we don't need it, and so if she's not in this scene, then her being in this scene doesn't make sense. Let's just cut the character out. So there was no big, scandalous reason why Anna Paquin and Rogue isn't there anymore. It's just an editing decision, and she really wasn't in it all that much. Have you guys heard anything different?
They went Rogue Cyclops, Rogue Cyclops.
No, I heard they went Rogue Toad. Rogue Toad. You better get Toad in, but don't get the original actor, get this other dude, and then cut out Rogue.
And then make him 12.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see more Rogue, though. I love her as a character. And it makes me sad that this is happening, but I would love to see
She's in that
Rogue
trailer.
presence.
I didn't like the way they did her, though, in the original films. I like Anna Paquin, but they really toned her down and dumbed her down, and she's a way cooler character than they should.
I love the way they started her,
right,
and then they didn't really go anywhere with her, which is too
they
bad.
totally chimped her in the X-Men 3. She was just like, I don't want my powers anymore, standing in line for like 8 hours. Like the whole movie, she was in line waiting to get rid of her powers.
Waiting for a new Xbox. All right, what's next?
Thornbad, will we get a rebooted Tomb Raider movie franchise based on the new video game franchise?
Yeah, as far as I know, that's actually happening. They rebooted the video game franchise, so the movie is going to be a reboot of the reboot. And yes,
The game is better in every way, and I want Gemma for it, so let's do
Ooh,
this.
Gemma would be
that would be
awesome.
a good casting choice.
how do you pronounce Arton's?
Arturtron.
Megatron?
We all have 3 different answers.
Gemma Argrikstron.
Arturtron. I don't think there's a
Arturtron.
Tron, because I was corrected with
The
that.
Hansel and Gretel chick.
Right?
Arturton.
Yeah.
Who, by the way,
Gemma.
people told me for a long time Gemma would make a great Wonder Woman, and I never saw it.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched Hansel and Gretel the other night, just because we were at home and had nothing to do, and watched it again, and like, now I see why everybody
Yeah.
said that.
Gemma as Supergirl.
Hey!
Tomb Raider, boom.
Wait,
keep
and
going.
you too. You guys have to fight.
We'll both be in the casting room. No, I love her. I think she's so feisty.
She's good.
She is. She's
like
great.
her energy
Beautiful
and passion.
believable.
All right,
Yeah.
2 more quick ones.
Collects Too Much wants to know how we feel about a property like The Mask or Green Hornet getting another shot on the big screen.
Green Hornet, no. I actually like. Hey, look, I actually liked Green Hornet a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Really?
Because I thought it was going to be just absolute garbage, and I ended up laughing quite a bit throughout the film. Although
I didn't like it
it
that
is not worthy of a sequel. As far as The Mask goes, they destroyed any
Yeah.
hope of that when they put out that horrible Son of the Mask movie.
yeah.
That was so
That was
unwatchable.
epically
It was
bad.
painful.
Yeah.
I think I only saw about a half hour of that. And
But-
I didn't see Green Hornet yet. But
Cameron Diaz.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron Diaz in the original Mask.
Sure.
I will put her in my top 3 of the hottest actresses in Hollywood history in one specific movie. Like, she was just
Smoking.
liquid porno.
And one
it
of the
was
only
dress,
films
crazy
I
good.
Cameron
liked her
Diaz.
in. One of the only films to this day that I've liked her in, so.
I like it. Something about Mary. Come on,
Yeah.
guys. Charlie's
I
Angels.
really liked her in Best Friend's
Right.
Wedding,
She
too.
annoys
In
me.
Vanilla Sky, she was fantastic. But actually, this weekend I was watching Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness back to back. It was an awesome double feature night
Nice.
at the Aaron Darling house. And I think Bruce Campbell could be an amazing Mask character.
He could.
Yeah, it's kooky.
He could absolutely be a great
Put him in
Yeah.
anything, I'm usually in.
I'd be so on board with that
Shakespeare?
idea.
Yeah, I'm in.
Bruce.
All right, last one.
His handle is Groovy Bruce. Come on.
Beastly wants to know if Guardians of the Galaxy is a successful film, could that open up the possibility for a Planet Hulk movie?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Planet. For those who don't know, there are 2 comic story arcs. One called Planet Hulk, which leads into another storyline called World War Hulk. In Planet Hulk, a bunch of the big Marvel superhero head dudes decide that after an incident, Bruce Banner and the Hulk are just far too dangerous. They love him, but he's too dangerous, and they knock him out, put him on a ship, and send him off into space. And he crash lands on this planet, becomes a gladiator. It's much like Gladiator, the movie. And becomes king of the people of that planet. But little beknownst to him that the head dudes of Marvel, the head Marvel heroes, they planted a nuclear bomb in the ship that carried him just in case he tried to come home. And that bomb went off and killed all of the Hulk's people, including his wife. Yes, the Hulk got married. So the Hulk gets a bunch of his biggest, baddest gladiators. They make their way back to Earth, and he declares war on everybody. And it's pretty damn awesome. We've been talking about World War Hulk and Planet Hulk a lot, but there are a lot of rumors, but Feige seems to have killed those a while ago. So I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy will have any influence one way or the other, and if they do a Hulk or Planet Hulk movie. But I would love to see it.
Yeah.
And Mark
was-
Ruffalo deserves one.
He was just talking about how he'd
Yeah.
like to, when they do, because he's pushing to do a Hulk standalone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd love to see a third Hulk. And guys, spoilers, I'm playing the Red Hulk. I'm going to
Yes.
be fighting him.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I'd love to see a
Yeah,
Ruffalo as a Hulk.
He's
you
the
know,
best. He
in a
deserves one.
standalone.
I
And
love that.
he's also under contract to play the Hulk multiple more times, so I'm kind of interested to see
He
what
was saying
they
if
do
he
with the
put
character.
all of his footage in the Avengers together, this is what he said. I was in like 10 minutes of the movie. So in the feature film, he'd love to explore it a lot more of the
Yeah,
character. so.
absolutely.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us today here on this live edition of AMC Movie Talk. Don't forget, we do this every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We love that you join us. Listen, lots of great movies playing right now in AMC theaters everywhere. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. If you haven't done so already, take a second and click on that subscribe button and become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. Keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, including our daily AMC Movie Talk show and all the other shows that we do now. We'll get more into that stuff later. Thanks so much for joining us. I want to thank the people who are sitting at this table with me. First of all, sitting to my left, Miss Erin Darling. Erin, where can people find you online?
Twitter, Erin A. Darling. I'm confused right now. Facebook, Erin Darling fan page, and YouTube, Erin Ashley D. Thanks so much for watching.
Our movie news editor here at AMC Movie News, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you online?
On Twitter, Amy Rosie. Thanks so much.
the one and the only, the Red Hulk himself, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at John Schnepp. Add me and we'll get in some battles. You know what I'm saying? It was funny. Somebody was talking about like that wrestling thing. They called you what? They called you.
They called me Bret the Hitman Hart and called you Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Yes.
That's pretty
Crack me
good.
up.
And of course, our lovely host today, the one with all the power in the chopboard, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, back triumphantly from New York. Where can people find you online?
You guys will find me here all week, and then you can find me on Twitter at Chrisley and Tumblr, The Movie Chick.
And you can find me on all the various social media networks just at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.